What is going on, Redskins fans? This is JD coming to another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Happy holidays. Everyone out there, hope you have a good, safe holiday. I actually did a video on what I'm about to talk about earlier this week. I didn't post it because I did it in my room, and I was coughing a lot and editing, and I actually sweared a lot, so I needed to edit it. I just don't have time to edit it right now. Holiday weekend, I work managing AT&T store, so I work in retail. So there's just not enough time and hours in a day to get it done. So I'm going to go over everything I went over in that video. Hopefully I can recall all of it from memory. Haskins in the Eagles game. Haskins, I'm going to give him a lot of credit. He did very well in this game. He did brilliantly. 10 out of 10 for me. A++. He had 266 yards. Not the greatest amount of yards. I mean, I'd like to see something over 300. If some guys catch some balls, we're having a different discussion. He would have cleared 300 easily. But he also completed 67.85% of his passes, so 68%. And that's with sprinkling two or three drops in there. And there's definitely some drops. I'll go over all those drops. I'll go over a couple other players. So, he did very well. He commanded the huddle. He didn't turn the ball over. It seemed like the offense was catered today, or on Sunday, was catered towards his skill set more than it's ever been. He was passing a lot more. He was in shotgun a little bit more. I think that's the most he's passed. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I know we didn't run the ball as much as we usually do. And he actually ran the ball pretty effectively too. He had some pretty big runs, get us in scoring range, and he had 2 touchdown passes. One was a quick slant to McLaurin, who took it to the house. The other one was a very well-thrown pass behind the defender, behind the receiver, but he got it where the defender wasn't looking to Steven Sims, and he gets a touchdown out of it. So great, and he probably could have some more if some guys could catch the ball. But all the good. I'm going to talk about like one play, really, maybe two. He had a play in the into the first half where he had Steven Sims open. He underthrew it, and you just got to complete those passes. That's an NFL pass you got to complete because it converts, and we end up getting a first down moving the chains. Other than that, not much else. He did a great job. He had like a blitz, and he had some good reaction to the blitz. He got sacked 0 times. I think he scrambled on some. He got like back to the line of scrimmage, so it didn't count as a sack. But I think he might have got sacked once, but it doesn't count as a sack if you get back to the line of scrimmage. And the Eagles are bringing some pressure, and I thought he did very well under the pressure. I just thought he played a great game. There's not much I can say bad about him, even with the bad throw. There's a couple drops in there, and if he just, there's not even like his mistakes. He's like I said in a couple videos ago. I said there's some benefits you can take out of what he's doing. The game where he had like 40% completion percentage. Okay, he's finding guys open. Now, you can say what you want about, he needs to be more accurate, which today was an example of him being more accurate, but he was finding guys open. He just wasn't being accurate. Now he finds guys open and he's being accurate. I think that's a recipe for a very successful quarterback and a franchise quarterback. We need to see more than just 1 week. He's going to get a chance to play against the entire division in these last 3 weeks. Last week, Philly, this week, the Giants, and next week, the Cowboys. So he's going to get a chance to play against the entire division and really get a chance to test the waters and see how they're going to play him. And see, he has a pretty good track record against Philly. He doesn't have a great track record against the Giants, but that's because he got thrown in to a situation where he wasn't prepared. So I think he's going to have a breakout game. I hope so. I hope he's going to have another good game. I'm going to actually be in this game. It's going to be a crazy trip, 8 hours of driving to get there, but I'm excited about it. I'm a fan, so I'm going to see my team. Win, lose, or draw. I'm excited about it. Let me see what else. So that's what I got to say about Haskins. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I mentioned the one bad throw that I can think of. He might have had another one. I just can't think of it right now. But I'm not going to harp on that. He did a great game. If we can get that out of him, if we got that out of him the last 3 or 4 weeks, we would have won. First off, we'd have beat the Packers. Okay, we'd have beat the Packers. We'd have probably beat the Jets. If he'd have played against the 49ers and did something like that, and the weather was bad, so you don't know. For all we know, they would have done better with better weather too. But we could have won a couple more games, and I think Haskins is proving that he has ability and he has the ability to grow. and I want to throw this out there. I'm not saying we got to do that. I'm not saying this is our best option. It's definitely not our best option. Okay, but I think it would behoove us to consider Callahan as the head coach going forward, because in the short time period in which he's took over, there has been a huge growth, a level of growth that we've seen out of Haskins under the tutelage and coaching of Bill Callahan. Now, whether that's Bill Callahan or somebody else, I don't know, but it seemed like his plan to slowly get him acclimated to things and slowly build the offense, carry the offense towards him, has been working. It's been working very well. So I don't see how we do anything other than, I don't know how we don't at least consider it. I think there's some coaches we need to consider keeping. Still think we need to get rid of Minuski. I will give him credit. He has been doing better the last few weeks. I think this week, I think Carson Wentz just has his number. He just has our number when it comes to figuring out where to go with the ball on 3rd and 15 and things like that. And I don't understand why we can't just cover people, but it is what it is. I'm not going to go too much into it. I still think Minuski needs to be gone. There's so many better defensive coordinators we can have. Rex Ryan would be my choice. I wouldn't mind Rob Ryan taking over until Rex Ryan, we get him in the building. I don't think Rex Ryan would be a good head coach, so I'm going to go that route. He's had that opportunity. It hasn't gone the greatest. So I want to make that clear that that's not the route I would like to go when it comes to our head coach. I just think Rex Ryan would be a great defensive coordinator. I think he'd do a lot of good things with the talent we have. And I think we have a young, talented group that he could work with. And with this draft coming up, I think we can grab some key pieces, and I'll go over draft at the end of this. But I think it would behoove us to at least consider Callahan. If Haskins just keeps improving the way he's improving under Callahan, I think it's stupid not to consider him. So, next thing, Steven Sims. I'll go over some players. I'll give him some grades. The offensive line gets an A. We did not have Brandon Sheriff. Okay, we didn't have Brandon Sheriff, so we had to go with the young guy Wes Martin, and we also had Pierce Brocker on the lineup. And I honestly can't say anything bad about him. They protected the quarterback. The run blocking wasn't horrible. Philly has a stout defensive front, so the fact that we still got almost 100 yards rushing on them, still pretty exciting, to say the least. And offensive line gets an A+ for me. They blocked well. They gave him time, and even when they didn't block, whenever he was rushed, it wasn't because of them. It's because they came with more guys than they had available to block. So they did a great job, and now we're seeing him with more time to throw. All that I can say with that is they need to get him more plays so we can get rid of the ball quick. Other than that, offensive line did great, quarterback did great. Receiving core, Terry McLaurin. He's going to be the first 1,000-yard rookie receiver the Redskins have had in their history. I hope that happens. I don't want to count my chickens too soon, but I hope that happens. Because my God, he can play. He catches everything that comes near him, just about. He has breakaway speed if you get him in the open field. I think you need to get him the ball in more situations where you can get the ball quicker instead of always deep routes. You just need to get the ball quicker and let him run a little bit. He gets an A. Steven Sims gets a B+. It would be an A+. However, there's a couple plays he had where, one of them he dropped a couple passes. Haskins has a guy in his face, and Haskins makes the perfect read, the perfect throw, drops it. Sims had a touchdown. Maybe not a touchdown, but he would have got the ball on the 3 or 4 yard line. And the defender, it was a little bit of physicality, yeah, sure. But you still had the opportunity to catch it, and you didn't. You whiffed on it. Would I say that there should have been a call? Yeah, I'll say there should have been a call. But it's not, you can't blame the referees when you still have the chance to catch it. If it just drug him down and the ref didn't call it, that's one thing. But even with the contact, you still had the ability to catch the ball. You got to catch the ball there. That puts us in, with Adrian Peterson, that ball is getting in the end zone. I believe the ball is getting in the end zone. But you had 2 drops that I can think of right off the top of my head. You had a play late in the fourth quarter where it was 8 yards, and we need to get 8 yards. And you caught the ball with 7 yards. And rather than just diving for the first down, you tried to shake and bake people, and you got tackled a yard short, and we had to go for a field goal. Now we still got the field goal, so not a big deal. But it would just been better if we could convert the first down and keep chains moving. That's something we're not doing very well right now, is converting and keeping chains moving. That could have been very helpful. Harmon, he didn't have a lot of targets, but I think he did pretty well. Jeremy Sprinkle, I'm actually very impressed with him. He had a couple tough catches. Got to make sure we're catching those balls and being in position. He had a bad week last week, so he actually had a decent week this week. Let's see here. I'm not going to go over too many other receivers. Running backs, got to give Adrian Peterson a pat on the back. He did well. I mean, it was a hard game to do well in running, because the Eagles' front four is very good, and I think they just weren't focused on the running game. I think he only had 16 carries for 66 yards. He had like 4 yards of carry and a touchdown, and a touchdown run was just amazing. So, and he caught the ball a couple times on the backfield. He had almost 100 yards of all-purpose yards. So, he did well. Thompson did well. I don't even know who this Ferguson guy was, but he did pretty well. So offensively, I think overall the offense did pretty well. Just got to convert those third downs, those little rookie mistakes that our rookies make. We just got to correct those. Okay. Defense. I thought the defense, even though we lost, even though they gave up 37 points, I thought the defense for the most part did well. Other than I want to retract that. I think certain parts of the defense did well. It's the same issues. I think Ryan Anderson's finally coming into his own. Now they don't have to play behind the shadow of Ryan Anderson or Ryan Kerrigan. He's actually starting to show a little bit. He had like 3 forced fumbles. I think he recovered one of them, and he had a couple sacks. So I think he's actually coming into his own. And the same thing with Montez Sweat. Actually, Montez Sweat had a good game last week. He hadn't had such a great game this week. But I think given more opportunities, we're going to see a lot better production out of him. Now, everyone's panicking like, oh, Montez Sweat's okay. We all thought the same thing about Haskins, and Haskins starting to look good. Give it some time. Give it a little time. He's still a rookie. He's still adapting to the NFL. And he was obviously wasn't, maybe he wasn't in a position where he was, put in a position to be successful. And maybe just now figuring out where he's good at. Okay? Secondary, going to give Jimmy Moreland some credit. God, Josh Norman needs it. I know why they kept him. They've already paid him his money for this season. It's all guaranteed at this point. So if they cut him, they basically paid him and can cut him. That's why they keep him on the roster. But he just can't play anymore. He can't cover anyone. It is blatant how bad he is. When we played the Eagles the first time, he got burnt twice. When we played him this time, he got burnt again. Game-winning touchdown. He just this season he needs the off-season bad, because he needs to go somewhere else and show that he can play football. I was contemplating maybe keep him on as a safety to play alongside Landon Collins, but that would just not be a great idea. He's just not good. He's just not good in any way, shape, or form. He's not effective. I think he's still good at tackling and run stopping, but he can't cover anyone. Everyone's faster than him. Everyone can do one juke move and get over top of him and burn him deep. And I hope going into the game against the Dallas Cowboys that we have some people that can play. Danny, what's his name? Begins with an A. Played very well today or Sunday. Jimmy Moreland had good coverage or recovery speed to stop a touchdown. All these things. Holcomb is playing well. Our best players on defense, or the one that stands out the most, let me phrase that, this year have been pretty much rookies. Moreland and Holcomb are late round picks, and they've been playing amazing. So, what do I want to go over next? Okay, so I can't wait to get rid of Bruce. Urban Meyer's at the game. I'm not gonna look too much into that. All I can say is, wouldn't hate him being like a coach. Wouldn't hate him at that, but I just don't think the situation gonna be right for him. Wouldn't hate it. I think it'd be a lot less stressful on him to coach pro than college. In college, you got to do a lot of recruiting. In pro, you don't really do that. You just got to do a lot of film analysis. You'll help with the recruiting, but your recruiting isn't going out and actually going to see players at their high school games and going to parents to convince them that their son belongs at whatever school you're at. That's not the case with this. What the case with this one is You really just have to go out and go and tell your GM, like, hey, I've done a lot of research on this. This is the guy I want to draft, yada, yada, yada. That's the extent of the work. So he's not going to be as stressed out as he was in college, and that's apparently what the case was. So that being said, I want to go over one more thing. Talk about the draft. Now, in the video I filmed earlier, and like I said, I didn't have time to edit it, I cussed a lot. I cussed up a storm because I was looking up the Redskins draft picks in a mock draft to see what they projected for the Redskins. A really early one on CBS Sports has the worst draft the Redskins could possibly have. They have us taking a wide receiver from Alabama, first pick, third pick overall, fourth pick overall, whatever. They have us taking the next pick is a running back. The pick after that was an offensive guard, not a tackle, but an offensive guard. Then they had us getting a tight end late, which the tight end I saw wasn't bad. He's one of the top tight ends. Just didn't have a lot of tight ends. Another receiver, another running back, and that's pretty much it. So that is what the Washington Redskins draft is. They're projected to get, and I think that's just god awful. Here's what the Redskins need to do. Redskins with the first pick need to do one of two things. They can draft a lineman. I want to say his name is Andrew Miller, maybe. Andrew Martin, maybe. Andrew Miller, I think. He plays for Georgia. I'm going off memory here. I don't think it's Andrew Martin. I think it's like Andrew Morgan. Maybe it's Andrew Morgan. The top-ranked left tackle in the draft. So that wouldn't be a horrible option. Okay? Or you can do what I want to do. Trade back. Okay? In a mock draft, and I'm going to actually do this again and post it. Hopefully I can get the same picks. A mock draft, I traded back. Got the 12th pick in the draft from somebody and drafted the second offensive tackle in the draft. And in doing so, I acquired a second round, a third round pick. I actually traded back twice, so I got 2 seconds and 2/3. And I still had the 14th pick in the draft. So I think that's a smart thing to do, is to trade back. Not to mention, I think the Redskins are going to get the pick from Trent Williams. We're going to trade him for somebody and hopefully get another first round pick. I'd like to get first and a second. That'd be the baseline that I would like. If we just get something, I'm going to be happy, because we need picks. And we don't need to be keeping a hold of an offensive lineman that's old and doesn't want to be here and wasting our time and not hitting draft picks, you know. So I just don't see that being the best option, like hanging on to Trent Williams, when we can trade him and get a first-round draft pick or a second round or even both. I think it just makes more sense to do it that way. I'm trying to get this adjusted so the light's not hitting my face. That's the first thing I think we should do. I think we should trade back, get a little bit midway first round. I think we still get a good offensive tackle. So that's what I think we should do first. Then I think we need to go after 2 other positions, tight end and cornerbacks. We don't have any tight ends. Jordan Reed, he's retired, and so does Vernon Davis. They both didn't even play this year. They didn't even finish the season. And we need to replace them with young guys. We have a young offense anyway. Why not just replace them with 2 young tight ends? There's some good ones in the draft we can get in the second round, in the third round, that can be productive. And not to mention Jeremy Sprinkle, even though he has some bad games, he's still a decent player. And I think we can hang on to him. And I think we can solidify our tight end spot right there. I think we can draft. There's a couple, I'm not going to go over them player by player, but there's a couple good tight ends in the draft that we can get. We can probably get 1 or 2. Maybe a free agent tight end, just get 1 in the draft. But I'd rather get, young ones that we can build with our quarterback rather than getting some older ones. We got to get them acclimated regardless. I'd rather have someone we can acclimate that costs less and that we can have for the next, few decade or so, if we so choose to. So, tight end, that's the next position, then cornerback. We need to get cornerbacks. If you look at our team, okay, offensive line, okay, we might be able to use another guard. But I think with Wes Martin, the way he just played, or Wes Martin? I think it's Wes Martin. The way he just played, and I think he proved that he can do the job. I'm not saying we need to move on from Sheriff. Not really. I don't think so, but I don't think we should move on from Sheriff, but if he's going to be too expensive, why not? I mean, we can, if we got rid of Sheriff, and we got rid of. I'm throwing this hypothetical out here. Let's say we got rid of Sheriff. We didn't re-sign him. We got a compensatory draft pick for him with a third-round pick, so we do get a pick for him if we don't re-sign him. And then we trade Trent Williams, and let's just say we get a first round, a second round, and a fourth round pick. Well, we have 2 first rounders, 1 second rounders, at least 2 thirds, and that's not even trading back yet. So I think this just gives us more options if we do it that way. I think it's the smartest route to go. And we can play Wes Martin, Pierce Brocker, one of them, have them compete for the spot. I think we need to re-sign Eric Flowers. I think that's a smart move. He's been nothing but a godsend this year. He's been fantastic. Anyone who doesn't think he's been good has not been watching the games. We can draft a young, good offensive tackle to play the left tackle. That will leave Flowers at left guard. Chase Roulier will play center. And then we have Pierce Brocker and Miller fighting for the right guard spot. And then we still have Morgan Moses, or we can do what I want to do and move on from Morgan Moses and go John Christensen. Really, it's up to them how they want to do it. But we can move on from 2 expensive linemen. Brandon Sheriff, like I said, I think he's worth like $8 million a year right now. And Trent Williams is worth $15. So right there, get rid of those 2. You're looking at $20, $22, $23 million right on the caps, right on the books right there. You can use that towards other positions like linebackers, like safeties, whatever. Another lineman maybe, I don't know. And then defense, I think our defensive line is solid. A lot of people want us to get Chase Young. I'm not sitting here to say Chase Young would be a bad pick. The problem is we're kind of solidified on the defensive line front. We have Payne and Settle. I don't think he's going to play there. We have Allen and Ioannidis at the defensive end spot. I don't think he's going to play there. I mean, we just invest a lot of money in Matt Ioannidis, and Jonathan Allen's Jonathan Allen. We're not going to bench Jonathan Allen to play somebody else. And then our linebacking core, that's where I think we might be able to use him. But outside linebacker, we just drafted Montez Sweat. We're going to give up on him that quick. Okay, we have that option. We also have Ryan Anderson, the other one, and Ryan Kerrigan we can keep too if we want to go that route. So I think middle linebacker would be the best bet. What if you have Cole Holcomb and then Chase Young's your other middle linebacker, and then Reuben Foster comes in and competes for it? I think that's the best bet you're going to have when it comes to if you're going to draft Chase Young, is what I mean. If you draft Chase Young, middle linebacker is the best spot because, you need someone you want to put your best athlete on defense at middle linebacker anyway. Makes the most sense. Although I think that's out of position for him. I've seen him lined up at center position or middle linebacker position a few times, so it's not something he's unfamiliar with. But if we're going to take the best available player, take Chase Young and do that. Or maybe move Ryan Anderson, middle linebacker. It just really depends on what you want to do. I think Chase Young would be better because he's more athletic. So, and then you look at corners. We need to get a corner. We need to get Jimmy Moreland. I think we found Jimmy Moreland is, definitely a guy we want to hang on to, we want to keep, and we want to build going forward with him. He's proven to me that he has the ability to do it. Landon Collins has proven to be a good leader on the defense. Really, what we got to look for is strong safety, the other safety position. I think Abke's had his chance. He's tried. He's done a decent job at times, but I don't think he's been consistent enough. So maybe one more offseason will be enough for him, or we move on from him. I don't want to carry either way. Is it Nicholson or Faber Monroe? I always get those 2 mixed up. Whichever one of them is playing safety, they ain't doing too bad. So if that's the route we want to go with I'm fine with that too. But we can also grab one in the draft just in case if a good one falls to us, it'd be stupid not to take him. So yeah, when it comes to the team, we don't need to get too much. We don't need running backs. We have Geis and Bryce Love, and we have Peterson still. If we want to hang on to Peterson, and plus we can always get a cheap running back later in the draft. Okay, receivers. I already went over the receiver position. We have, I think, 5 good receivers right now. 5 decent receivers: Richardson, McLaurin, Harmon, Quinn, and Sims. So that's 5 receivers right there. Tight end, we obviously need to get better tight ends. Defense, I went over all the positions. I just think we need to get a corner that is a shutdown corner. Greedy Williams is what I wanted to draft last year. In last year's draft, I thought we should trade into the draft to get options like Greedy Williams and other players. I said last year, I said we need to get a tight end. Noah Fant or Hawkinson would have been a great one to grab. Hopefully this year they listen to that and we grab a tight end. Gotta get some athletic tight ends in there. And one more thing I want to talk about, I just thought about it. We've got some really crap calls, man. There's been some really crap calls. In the Eagles game, there were about 2 or 3 really bad calls. One call, it's not a bad call. This one was actually good. I think it was Monroe and Nicholson took a shot at Zach Ertz after the ball was overthrown. It's just stupid. It's going to get called every time. Okay? It's just stupid. Ryan Anderson got called for a low hit on the quarterback when he hit him at butt level and wrapped his arms around his waist. Not a low hit on the quarterback. I'm sorry. It's not. And then another one was called roughing the passer, and he hit the guy as he was letting go of the football. It wasn't roughing the passer. These crappy calls are just really irritating me. And I'm not going to get up on a high horse about the Steven Sims call where he didn't get pass interference. Was it pass interference? Yeah, it was pass interference. Was it called? No. Is it something that was blatant pass interference? You could argue that it was contact between both. You could argue that, so I can understand like not making that call. I get that, but it just seems like we got some really, really bad calls go our way this week. Some dumb holding penalties, some dumb shit or stuff that shouldn't have been called. And I just cussed, so oh well. Just some dumb stuff that shouldn't have been called at all. And I hope the officiating's better. I'm going to the game on Sunday. I gotta get up. I gotta leave the house around 7 a.m. to get there. It's supposed to be a 4-hour drive. I have a feeling once I get closer to where the stadium is, it's gonna that time's gonna expand a little bit. Hope if you're going to the game, send me a shot. Maybe send me a text or a message or whatever. Maybe I'll see you at the game. But that's my video. Real excited to see Haskins. I'm hoping these last 2 weeks we see like another. He's been growing leaps and bounds. We'll see another week of growth where he gets over 300. Maybe gets some more touchdowns. I like to see him in a game where he gets so comfortable he just gets in the rhythm and just blows the team out of the water. Maybe I'm getting too ambitious with how he's progressed. Maybe, but I'd like to see that. I think Redskins fans would love to see him go up against our rivals, the Giants, and then just put a whooping on them after what he did, what was done to us at their place. So that's a video. Like, share, subscribe. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. See ya.